On Fall Scout Radio.
Alright, and we are here live, and we actually have Giovanni on, but before we start with the interview, I'm going to tell everyone a little bit about the Turnbuckle Promotions Inc. Fan Fest. Just so everyone knows, you will be seeing big stars like Goldberg will be there. You'll see a rare appearance by Lance Storm, ODB, Sabu, Orlando Jordan, Jimmy Snuka, Stacy Keebler. Not only that, but you will see Miss Kitty, Double J, Jeff Jarrett, Tommy Rich, Crystal Marshall, Heidenreich, the Steiner brothers, and so many more, including Joy Giovanni. And, you know, this is one of the biggest events of the year, I have to say, in my personal opinion. And you can find out all the info you need through turnbucklepromotions.com. And I do believe we're going to go ahead and get this started.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
We're doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Doing very well. That list is pretty impressive. It just keeps growing and growing. I haven't even heard some of those names yet.
It's crazy. Every day when I get a new press release, it seems like there's a new name added. I mean, this has got to be one of the biggest fan fests of the year.
Well, I'm sure the fans that got in early on it are really excited to see the names keep growing.
Yeah, and there's still a little bit, you know, by the time we air this, there's going to be about 5 days for the Fan Fest. You'll still be able to get your tickets for it. And, you know, there's just so many great talent. It's going to be hard for these fans to pick who they actually want to get autographs from.
Well, it's a long day. It's from, 3 p.m. to 10 p.m., so it might give them a chance to get pretty close to everyone they want to see.
Oh, yeah, I agree. It's just so much to, fill into one building. There's just so much star power there.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun, though.
Oh, yeah. So, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ask you the first question. What made you want to get into the wrestling business?
Well, honestly, I used to be a huge wrestling fan when I was a kid back in the days of Hulk Hogan and Brutus the Barber Beefcake and Randy Savage and all those guys. So it was something that I grew up with. A lot of East Coast kids kind of grow up being big fans of wrestling. So when they approached a lot of actresses and models in Hollywood and asked, would we be interested in trying out for the Diva Search, I said, sure, I'll come in and do the audition day and see where it goes from there.
Definitely. So did you say your parents take your vitamins as a child?
Right, I did my best. I missed a few here and there, but...
Jonathan Clark, do you have a question?
Yeah. What's your opinion on, the other girls that were involved in the Diva Search? What was it like for yourself being involved in the Diva Search?
I really liked it. I think that when I did it, I think it was the first year that they actually had it live. I know the year before that, I think it was just an internet-based kind of thing. So it was a little bit different. They kept us really separated from the rest of the talent. We kind of were in our own little room and didn't get to interact a lot with the talent. So that was kind of different. They threw a lot of things at us, and it was a different experience coming to film and television of not knowing what to expect. It was a lot of fun, all in all.
Oh, yeah. When you actually lost the contest, what went through your mind?
When I lost the contest, what went through my mind? I was in Seattle, and I actually had some friends and family in town to see me, so I think I was just more focused on that, and, I actually wasn't as sad as I thought I was going to be. It's kind of one of those things where I really personally felt that Christy Hemme should have won it and did, and I sort of felt kind of all along that she was going to. So, great for her, and I just was waiting if there was a different opportunity for me with the company. It turned out, luckily, that there was.
Now some say the Diva Search was rigged. On your side, do you think it was?
I don't know. I didn't see that, or there was nothing that would lead me to believe that personally. But I don't know. I haven't heard anyone say it, so I don't.
Yeah. Well, there was rumors actually that went around the internet, so that's what I was wondering.
There's rumors on the internet about everything. There's, oh my goodness, if you go what the internet says, I have about 75 different MySpace accounts over the past year. It's come to my attention that there are a few people on the whole MySpace actually claiming to be me and answering fan mail as if they are me, and I don't have a MySpace account.
Oh, you don't have a MySpace at all?
No, actually, a friend of mine is in the process of all the posers and fakes that are, misrepresenting themselves to my fans taken down. So
well, we actually work with Wrestling Fans Against Posers on MySpace, and what I'll do is after this interview is all said and done, I'll cut the audio out where you say you don't have a MySpace, and I'll send it to him, and he'll put it on his MySpace page. So that'll help you.
The official Joy Giovanni, where I'm holding the little shout-out sign, is where I look, the MySpace thing. So that should be posted up now, and we're in the process of taking all those other pages
nice.
down.
Well, I'll definitely send this into him, too.
Thanks.
No, not a problem. I actually work with a lot of guys, so...
Moral story is don't believe everything you read on the internet.
Exactly. That's why I figured I'd ask you, because you were involved in it, so you'd know.
Exactly, right.
Jonathan Clark, go ahead.
You were called back up to perform for WWE after being released. That must have been pretty thrilling for you.
I was actually really excited. They told me just briefly what they wanted me to do, that they were interested in having me work directly with the Big Show, and that was really exciting because I know what a huge superstar he is and that he's just an incredibly talented man. So I was really excited to have the opportunity to work with him, especially since wrestlers that are coming in the indie circuit and through training camps work so hard to be able to get to that level. I was really honored.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. What was the atmosphere like in the Diva locker room?
The Diva locker room during the contest or on the actual show?
Just on the actual while you were with the brand.
It was really laid back, honestly. We spent so much time together traveling, and it just always when we were traveling that everyone kind of ended up at the same gym in the morning to work out in whatever town we happened to be in. It was laid back and just, I don't know, there weren't a lot of like cat fights or people not getting along. It really wasn't any of that. And kind of you weren't in the locker room very much. You were in there to drop off your stuff and change, but everyone had their own itinerary for the day that they needed to do.
Now, I got to ask you, as, a worker, I know, though, when we go on the road, usually you have a person that you're partnered up with. Were you partnered up with somebody when you guys were traveling?
Not so much, because most of the wrestlers don't live on the West Coast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I kind of tended to be flying out on flights by myself and much longer flights. And the way my contract was structured, I didn't necessarily have to be on the road very much other than TV because I have other obligations, in the Hollywood world. So I wasn't on the road for the house shows as much as everybody else. So I kind of, when I did travel, it was mainly for TV and some other shows, but I was mostly on my own.
Definitely. Now, when you were what about when you were heading to the venue? Did you have somebody that you drove with?
Once in a while, but not really. Kind of just made my own way. It was totally fine with me, just because the way being on the West Coast, like I said, my flights were different times than everyone else's, getting in much later and, having to rent a car and do the whole get to the venue thing.
Oh, yeah. The reason I asked is because usually when on the road, usually it's like Rey Mysterio and Chavo ride together and people like that, so that's why I figured I'd ask that question.
Right.
So I'm going to let Jonathan Clark go ahead.
What's your opinion on the current Deva roster, even if you watched wrestling since you left?
I don't watch it a whole lot anymore. I know that they have released quite a few people, and I heard that, I just through the rumor mill that they're bringing Gail Kim back. I think that's going to be really exciting because I think she's an incredibly talented diva, and I probably will watch once she starts having matches again. And I have to say that I was sad to hear that Trish Stratus left because I also thought she was really talented and hardworking.
Definitely. My next question for you is, how did it feel to work alongside such talent as JBL, Kurt Angle, and The Big Show?
I really enjoyed working with The Big Show especially, but also JBL and Kurt Angle. I didn't spend a whole lot of time with JBL specifically just because he was kind of my arch enemy. Weber when I was there. He was really professional and I didn't have a lot of interaction with him on a personal level. Kurt, I thought was an amazing athlete, as well. And he kind of also had an adversarial relationship with me when I was there. And The Big Show is just a big sweetie. I loved working with him, and we had so much fun together.
Definitely. Do you still talk to any of your friends from WWE?
I talk to a few people now and again. Big Show and I are still friends, and I went to see him. It's been a while now, but one of the times when they were in Anaheim, I went down and saw him, said hi. I still talk to people here and there, not as much, of course, as I did when I was friends with the company, so I still say hi now and again to few people.
Definitely. Jonathan Clark, go ahead.
Does it bother you that you never had a chance to really compete and show what you could do inside the ring? I know you had a couple of gimmick matches, but they didn't really showcase you as well as they should have.
I honestly was learning to wrestle kind of on the fly when we were on the road. I started learning some when we were overseas doing the Italy tour and a little bit even during the Japan tour. And I was really bummed out that my matches didn't end up happening. I think I could have done a lot in the ring as far as that goes, and I wish I would have had more of an opportunity to grow that way, just because once I got there, I had such a great respect for how hard everyone works and the athleticism that's involved in what they do that I really wanted to learn more and was so willing to learn anything that any wrestler would teach me about being in the ring at any time.
Definitely. My next question for you is, what was your feelings when you were released from WWE?
When I was released from WWE, I honestly thought it was a huge shock. I kind of found out on, I think it was a Sunday night. I think at the time when I was doing it, the show was taped on Tuesday, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure.
For SmackDown, yeah, it's Tuesday.
So my normal travel day would be Monday. So I had my travel orders, my itinerary, and I actually got the call kind of late on Sunday night and was really shocked and called a couple other wrestlers first and released, Jackie Jada and Mark Sindrak and some other wrestlers I was friends with, and I guess most of them had found out earlier in the weekend, Friday, and from what I hear, I was kind of the last one to find out type of thing.
Yeah, kind of like everyone had already found out that you were going to be released before you did.
No, they had found out that they were going to be released.
Oh, they were getting released? Oh, wow.
Didn't tell them who else was included in that, bundle of people that were released. I think there were quite a few of us in that one group, like about 50 or so, if I remember.
Yep.
But yeah, I was just really surprised. It kind of came out of nowhere for me.
What are your thoughts, actually, on, the way that WWE just, drops the ball where they release 30 people in one day once a year?
Well, I think the way that they do things is purely business. I don't think it's personal in any way. I don't think that it's necessarily they're singling anyone out or picking on anyone. They have a huge company to run and just, budget issues that I could never even begin to know what goes into planning that. But I really think that Vince McMahon is an incredible businessman, and if you look over the years, the way he's grown his empire from there being, small wrestling territories into what it is now, it's just business. You can't take it personal.
Exactly. Jonathan Clark, go ahead.
After you were released from WWE, a career in acting began for you. What was that like, making the transition from wrestling to acting?
I actually started out in acting and modeling, and that's where I came from.
Okay.
And what we were told, the girls, most of them that did the Diva Search video, I did the original casting day in LA, kind of by the airport. I think there were 200 or 300 girls that they called from all different casting agencies in LA. And we were sort of all pitched in a way that they're trying to bring in talent that was more educated and had more of an acting background as far as that goes. So I came from acting, so it really wasn't, it was more of me transitioning into the world of wrestling and learning that rather than, transitioning into acting, so that's where it came from.
So, in a sense, it was almost a work when they were telling people via the show to, send in their pictures and stuff.
I think they actually did get some people that way, because I'm not 100% sure, but I'm 99% sure that Michelle McCool came. She's from Florida. I'm pretty sure she came that route. She didn't come from a casting agency, as far as I know. So there were actually girls that made it in, and I do believe they had just as much of a shot as anyone else. So they were just looking for, talent that specifically fit the type that they're looking for.
Oh, yeah. Now, my next question for you is, you've had many movie roles. Which one was your favorite to play?
My favorite movie role to play? I did an independent film a couple years ago called Pretty Cool 2. I think they may have renamed it Pocket Girl, and it's sort of like a spin on a reality show, Girls Next Door, Playboy Mansion kind of thing, and I did a sort of like a money-hungry, juicy playmate named June. That character was a lot of fun to play because it was a comedy, and, comedy is always fun. She gets to be a little more free and goof off a little bit more. So it was a good time.
Definitely. Jonathan Clark, go ahead.
Who was your favorite talent to work alongside as it pertains to movies?
favorite character to work alongside as it pertains to movies. I've gotten to meet a lot of really cool and interesting people. I did, after I left the WWE, I did some hosting and got to work on G4 Network, which is the video game network, with some really cool video game creators, actually, which I thought was really neat, because that's just a whole other realm of entertainment that has a huge crossover with everyone. They make video games about everything now, but I think that was really interesting. A lot of the talent involved in that industry as well.
Definitely. Who is the best collector you've worked alongside?
That was, oh yeah, for the next one.
Oh, was it? Okay, sorry. Who would you like to work with in a movie out of all the actors out there?
There you go.
Out of all the actors out there to work in a movie. It's a really hard question. I would love to see it. Where are they now of the Godfather movies and being that. That's one of my favorite movies. I love the Godfather movies, those old mobster type Goodfellas and those kind of movies. It would be an amazing, of course they'd never do it, but I think it'd be an amazing thing if they did, before, where are they now kind of thing.
Yeah. Jonathan Clark, go ahead.
What's the most difficult thing about learning the role for a movie, the script? What's the most challenging thing about being in a movie or acting?
I would say the most challenging thing about acting is having such a long day, especially in a more dramatic role where you're, like a horror type film. It's so intense all day long that you just are really kind of drained at the end of the day, and then switching back over to normal, your normal day-to-day stuff when you get home. So it's a little bit difficult to transition, but all in all, acting's a lot of fun, so it's not necessarily compared to people that have, difficult jobs like, policemen, firemen, or women. It's, kind of just like in a different ballpark.
Definitely. My next question for you is, what was it like to be in the Avenged Sevenfold music video for Beast and the Harlot? I had a lot of fun doing the Avenged Sevenfold video. I had never done a music video before, and it kind of came to me through my publicist at the time, Tracy Harper, who was wonderful, and asked me, said they're interested in you, would you be willing to do a music video? And I grew up, watching music videos, always had the girl star of the video, so I thought it was a really cool idea, and it was a lot of fun. Those guys were all really nice and laid back, and the concept for the video was really different and interesting, so that was also a lot of fun. It was a day shoot, and when you see all the fans in the background, it kind of turns to black if you see in the video. All those fans that were there were actual fans of the band that came and supported the band and just did the video and hung out there and worked all day for free just because it's the band. So I thought that was pretty cool. That's crazy. I know, it was a lot of people. Yeah, I bet. Now, what are your thoughts on you making the appearance in SmackDown vs. Raw 2006? I'm sorry, repeat the question? I said, what were your thoughts on being a part of the SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 game? Oh, the video game. Yeah. I think that is one of the things I could be a part of, is being in a video game. The character I've seen it. I have the game. Of course you do. I play the game, and on my game, I am the winner of all the belts and championships.
Isn't everyone?
I come over and, not everyone gets to actually be the winner. That's the cool thing. My friends come over and kick my butt on the game. So it's a lot of fun, and I've actually gotten online and seen, people balancing that. And it's really a lot of fun. It's one of those things that I never thought I would have a chance to be participating in a video game, and I think that's really lucky, and that's really cool. Now, I'm reading here that you're a licensed massage therapist. Can you tell us about that? I was at one time. I was younger before I decided to do acting. I kind of didn't know what I wanted to do. I did some traditional college and, regular jobs and, secretary, waitress, all that kind of stuff. And I decided to get into be a personal trainer and got certified in that. I went to school for massage therapy and holistic medicine and practiced that for a while. And then I, transitioned into being in fitness. Did a little bit of modeling that way, and then sort of came up into acting that way. But it was just something that I wanted to learn, and it went along with the the fitness training that I was doing.
Now you actually bring up school, and an interesting note I found about you online is that you actually graduated high school 1 year early.
I did.
Now, you're also a former cheerleader and kickboxer. Can you tell us about that?
I cheerleaded through school when I was younger, in the 3 years that I was there. We did all the sports, football, soccer, basketball, and hockey, and then I also played field hockey. You know, we love our sports. We have lots of sports back there.
Yeah.
And kickboxing is just something that I kind of started doing for fitness and for fun. As good as running on the treadmill is for you or running outside, it can get a little bit boring, so I was just looking for ways to mix up my workouts, and kickboxing came along. I suppose I still actually do it now, and really into mixed martial arts. So I'm a big fan of watching those type of fights and matches, and I think they're really exciting.
Okay, so you hear that first-tier fans don't mess with her on the streets.
Yeah.
Now, my next actual thing for you is, who's your favorite hip-hop artist? I read here that you like hip-hop.
I do like hip-hop. I don't have a favorite artist, and I'm pretty terrible as far as I don't listen to the radio and stuff, so I don't kind of know who any of the artists are, but I do go out once in a while, so I just know the songs.
Yeah, you're kind of like me. You just kind of listen to the concerts or whatever hits you out in different places.
I know all the words to all the songs, and no, I'm not singing them, but but I don't know the artist. I really, as far as older, a few years ago, 50 Cent was great, and Eminem, and those guys have done a lot of amazing things. The new people, I don't know the artist, but I like it all.
It's funny you bring up Eminem. I was actually listening to him right before this interview.
He's so much. He just creatively, he's really talented, and he's actually brought up a lot of new artists, which is, I think, something that's really cool. If you know how hard it is to make it big in industry.
Exactly.
So, just work your way up and have the ability to bring new talent up. That's been amazing to do.
Now, I also read here you're fluent in Italian and Spanish.
No.
No?
That is wrong.
That's what Wikipedia gets you.
Oh my gosh, do you know that Wikipedia is totally fake?
Half the time yes, half the time it's actually got some good facts.
No, it does have good facts, but for example, I had a friend of mine call me about a Wikipedia thing that said I was, married to so-and-so, and I called someone else about it and said, do you know anything about the Wikipedia stuff? And they said, yeah, it's totally fake. Look at it in about 10 minutes. And I looked at it.
What it is fans create Wikipedia pages, and anybody can add to them.
Exactly. So my friend changed it and said I was married to Jose Cuervo or something, just to prove how easily it could be changed. No, my grandparents spoke Italian only and didn't speak English.
Oh, okay.
And when they moved here, my parents were born here, and they were kind of in that generation where if you spoke your own language, you weren't American enough or whatever. So my parents did not speak Italian; they only spoke English. So I mostly understand Italian, but I cannot speak a word of it. I do speak Spanish, but I'm not fluent as I would like to be.
Can you say hello to all of our fans in Spanish?
Hola, mis amigos. That's terrible. You'll put me on the spot for Spanish. Yes, buenas noches. Nighttime here in California and San Diego.
Yeah. Now, Jonathan Clark, go ahead.
I guess we should ask her if she's friends with Speedy Gonzalez, but nonetheless, you ever thought about putting out an album, a music album?
Have I ever thought about putting out a music album? No, my goodness. I sing in my car, I sing in my house when no one's home, but as far as putting out an album, I think it would probably get on the worst list of the worst album ever made.
Well, instead of Joy, sing for us.
What was that?
Sing for us, Joy.
Sorry.
Don't put her on the spot like that.
Really late here, Joy. Sing for us.
No. Okay, my next question for you.
You might get a happy birthday song out of me, but that's about it.
My next question for you is, it also says here that you competed in 2004-2005 Lingerie Bowl events.
Okay, I can tell you about that.
Yeah.
What happened with the Lingerie Bowl was that I was scheduled to do it, and I did all the promo stuff and the cards and, all the events and all that stuff. Did the practices, and then when it came time to do the Lingerie Bowl, that's around the same time that I got called up to the WWE, and so I basically had to make a choice contractually to do the lingerie-able or to do WWE, and obviously it says WWE, so I did not actually ever compete in the lingerie-able.
There we go. So now we can, email Wikipedia directly and tell them, hey, you need to change some stuff. I've got proof.
Exactly.
So, Jonathan Clark, go ahead.
You talk about competing, in lingerie bowls and things. What was it like for you competing in, the lingerie competitions and things for the WWE?
Like the bikini contest?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't mind doing bikini modeling and photo shoots and posters and lingerie stuff like that. That's actually a lot of fun, and creatively sometimes you can have control over settings and that kind of stuff, so that's fun. As far as the bikini contest, I liked it when the fans liked it, but there were certain venues where the fans weren't as receptive to it, and that made it not as much fun. But there were times when the crowd was there and the fans were really into it, and on those occasions, it was a lot of fun.
Great.
Anytime you're out there standing in front of thousands of people and you're essentially in your underwear, it's, sometimes a little bit distracting.
Definitely. Jonathan Clark, go ahead again.
Okay, you competed in the competitions with people like Tori Wilson. What's your opinion on someone like Tori Wilson?
I liked Tori a lot. She was really helpful as far as teaching me in the ring and certain wrestling moves and things that I wouldn't have been able to learn as fast without her help. And we had the opportunity to work out together a few times at the gym. She's amazing as far as fitness, and her body is obviously incredible. So I respected her a lot in that aspect, and she's just an all-around nice girl.
Definitely. Now, I have to ask you, what does the future have in store for you?
What does the future have in store for me? I'm actually I took a couple years off, so I'm starting to get back into the acting world and seeing, what's out there now. I actually just flew back in about an hour ago from Las Vegas. I did a signing there today.
Okay.
And I've got a couple of photo shoots coming up this week, and there's a few big things that I'm working on that I can't quite tell you about yet, but I promise when it's time I'll come back on and tell you guys all about them. But there's some things bubbling under the surface that I'm really excited about, so you'll start hearing more from me.
When they are finally and everything's finalized, we'd love to have you on for you to tell everyone about it.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'll tell you, she got to come back on here because tonight I got in a jam. I didn't think I was going to make it back here for the interview, and I did 145 in a school zone to get home for this, Joy, so you have to come back here.
My goodness.
I will find you and drag you back on here for this.
Jonathan Clark.
No.
All right.
Comedy relief on my show.
For me, Jonathan Clark, too.
He's a goofball.
Yeah, he is.
I like it.
Okay, good. There you go. All right, JP.
So, is there anything you'd like to plug before we let you go?
Well, just come and hang out if you guys are in the area, anywhere near Bucks County in Langhorne, Pennsylvania, on September 27th, 2008. I will be there at the Sheraton Bucks County Hotel. The actual event that you guys were talking about is scheduled from 3 to 10. I'll be there from about 3 to 6. So if you get a chance, I'd love to meet as many people as I can. It's always a lot of fun for me.
Definitely. Well, we'd like to thank you for coming on.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. It was great talking with you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Goodbye.